I'm Hazel. It's Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I have been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week, Blizzard added another alt gear for Flightstone's vendor. We had one of these last season, but there is now an updated version. You can buy 441 BOAs for 350 Flightstones each to send to your alt. Those are veteran track 1 of 8 upgraded items, and you need to have at least 1,000 Mythic Plus rating on the purchasing character in order to do this. You can do that here at Lindormi in Valdrakken, and that should once again be a nice way to offload some Flightstones if your main has been capped for ages and you have nothing else to do with them. This week, the Murazan's Rise key, which is the second half of the Dawn of the Infinites dungeon, the one with Deos at the end, has received a variety of hotfixes, making it easier, some nerfs overall. I don't normally pay too much attention to buffs and nerfs and balance changes because they kind of come and go with the tide, but this one does mark a good opportunity for anybody that's feeling kind of collection-minded and wanted a good excuse to go in and farm a bunch of Rise keys for the Quantum Courser item, which when used will give you a random mount from dungeons from the past, so that can be a really good way to catch up on some old dungeon mounts if you weren't having any luck farming them the old-fashioned way. Quantum Coursers are not a guaranteed drop, but they also seem to be much less rare than getting a rare dungeon mount drop. So especially if you only need like a couple of really elusive dungeon drop mounts, that's not a bad idea. In other things going on, you can now get your Grim Campfire via Twitch drop until January the 30th by watching 4 hours of a live WoW Twitch stream that has drops turned on, such as my own or most other people in the WoW category. The Grim Campfire looks like this. It is another cooking campfire toy, and the drop window was pushed back, but it is now live until January 30th. So if you had plans to get that, make sure that you pop into a stream for a couple of hours sometime before that's over. In other news this week, the Dragonflight Epilogue quest was hotfixed to give the champion of the Dragonflight's title. So if you have done that final epilogue quest line, you should have a new... Oh, sorry, Kitty Cat. You should have a new title to use. I understand that they call you the champion of the Dragonflights in the cutscene at the end of the epilogue, so it was a bit funky that we didn't have the title, but that has now been rectified. Other stuff going on this week, not a whole lot, kind of a quiet week. We've gotten our 10.2.5 content. We're busy Azerothian archive digging. I have my Death Knight kitted out with that new Candelabra mace. Life is good. And we're more or less waiting to find out more about what this pirate flag patch that's coming up next could be, but we don't know anything, so there's really nothing to report yet. I want to take this time to spotlight an add-on. I've mentioned this before, and some of you may have seen it, but if you haven't, this is Tome of Teleportation. It is an add-on that can, on a chat command, bring up a menu that has all of your available teleports on one screen. So you don't have to dig through looking for your Dalaran Hearthstone, your Garrison Hearthstone, your Stormwind Teleport Cloak. It can also show you ports that you might not have even remembered that you had, like the Fractured Necrolite Skull that can take you to the Black Temple when you sacrifice a critter. This is especially nice if you have dungeon portals. I've always found the menu of navigating dungeon portals in the general tab of the spellbook to be a bit clunky, and Tome of Teleportation does a great job of centralizing all of your available ports. It's a free add-on. I will put the link in the description. And then in my life this week, what's going on? I'm trying to raise a sourdough starter from scratch for the first time, just kind of for a project, and because I don't have one currently. And it's pretty fun. I've named her Elise, and she's not ready yet, but that's okay. It's early days. I feed her every night. And then I did get a chance to play some Palworld, and I really liked that. It's fun to play a game that doesn't take itself super seriously, and I really like the base building aspects, but I like the automation aspects of base building. I really think it's fun to find a pal in the world that's like really good at mining, like it's got rank 2 mining, but maybe it also has like an artisan trait to increase the work speed, and that's just like the best pal to put on your mine back at your base. I really have fun playing that part of it, and I like seeing all of the pals around the base kind of doing their jobs or just like chilling in the spa. And then questions for this week. Arcane Either asks, is the Azerothian Archives event a temporary thing, or will it stick around into War Within and beyond? Blizzard is never clear about event availability windows. So it's not going anywhere. It's going to continue to be where it is. They're not removing it. The vendors aren't going anywhere. The event as it stands isn't going anywhere. I don't think they're like bringing it into the War Within. I wouldn't expect to see another faction that has those same dig mechanics unless they're just really popular. But you'll still be able to go back and farm all of the cosmetics that you want from the Azerothian archives we have now, even if you don't start until War Within or even the expansion after. The question for a lot of these Dragonflight World events kind of becomes, So if you come back and do it in a couple of expansions, how doable is it? How feasible is it to collect the things that you're looking for if you're the only person doing it and everybody else has moved on? And that varies very much based on the event. The soup, for example, is really difficult to get the last boss to spawn if you're all alone. But the Azerothian Archives should be just fine to do solo. The boss will always spawn, and you should be able to get most of your fragments from like the weekly quest, even if you're not getting like 5 or 6 tomes per dig. So not going anywhere, there's no rush, but it is not a bad time to work on it now because you might get some more fragments for each dig that you do because there's lots of other people doing them. And then Dave wants to know, can knowledge points be used for something else or sold? I have maxed out tailoring and now have 253 knowledge points sitting free. So you can buy metal. You can exchange those extra knowledge points for artisan's metal at the Artisan Consortium NPC here in Valdrakken, and then, presumably use that metal to make some gold by making some good stuff. As far as I know, that is the only thing that can be done with excess knowledge points. And there's kind of like a weird awkwardness if you happen to be, not you specifically, but if you happen to be a double gatherer. What are you supposed to do with all of your artisan's metal? Like, even if you turned all of your extra gathering knowledge points into artisan's metal, for what? You use your artisan's metal at the very beginning of the expansion to make your profession equipment for gathering, but then it just kind of stacks up. Maybe they'll smooth that kind of thing out with whatever profession developments they do in the War Within. And that has been the week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions for any of this video, please pop it in the comments and include the word question to help me find it. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.